Hi, I'm Raina Nisus with A Season of Caring. I want to know, how are those conversations going with your parents about aging? Aging is such a taboo subject in our society today, and it just makes no sense. We're all getting older, one day at a time. So we might as well talk about it. What's going to happen when we need more help? Well, if we don't know what our parents want, we don't know how to support them or how to encourage them to get the help that they need. So I really want to encourage you to have some of those tough conversations. One of the things that I think will help the most is if you make it not a tough conversation. If you sit down with a list of questions and answers that you want, then it feels really awkward and your parents will probably become really defensive and they really will not want to talk about it. So the best way to approach the subject is to bring up a friend or family member who's going through a situation. You know, your parents probably have friends who are falling, breaking hips, or finding themselves in a place of needing help. So if they've spent time in the hospital, they typically are released to a rehab facility before they're able to go home. Have that conversation now. We don't stop to think about that sometimes, but that's the expectation. That's the norm. Not that you're going to leave the hospital and go straight home. So understanding that can help you have the conversation. You know, I heard that Aunt Sally went to such and such. Did she really like it there? How did that go? What did you think that would be like? Where would you like to go if something were to happen to you? Do we want to go look at it and kind of make some decisions now so we have a backup plan if something happens? Questions. Conversational questions that can help us to start moving in the direction that we need to go to help provide the support for our parents as they age. You know, I have a friend whose mom is in early stage dementia. She's really not safe to be at home anymore. She's not taking her medication like she should. She's not eating well. And so we've just reached that point where something has to be done. Her mom has a really limited budget. So my friend and I were visiting about the fact what options there are. You know, oftentimes people just assume that Medicare will pay for assisted living in these types of situations. Unfortunately, most of the time, it is not covered. Assisted living is not an option. They will pay for home care, depending on what the need is, and not for 24/7 care. They will help pay for skilled care. Skilled care nursing facilities are a long-term facility that a person has to qualify to be able to be placed in. So there's definitely some requirements. And if finances are an issue, you've got to start having these conversations. So you have realistic expectations. Both you and your parent understand what options are available. Because just because you want it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So I encourage you to do some research. If your parents wanting to stay at home alone as long as possible, that's great. But we're going to need some lawn help. We'll probably need some cleaning help, maybe a handyman. We might need some in-home care eventually. So what kind of pricing are we looking at with that? And what kind of funding is available? The next thing to think about is then if they want to go and live in an assisted living community, what options are there? How much does it cost? What fun things are there to do? And will they really like it? So making some visits, finding out, sharing some pricing, talking about what's happening at those facilities will just give you an opportunity to start the conversation maybe well before they're ready to go, but at least then you'll know what they're thinking and they can make sure that what they're thinking is realistic. I hope you find this helpful and I look forward to visiting with you again. Take heart in your season of caring.